Have you ever wondered how one man could turn a peaceful Christmas Eve into a nightmare? Picture Covina, an unassuming suburb nestled within the bustling metropolis of Los Angeles. It's the kind of place where neighbors know each other's names, children play freely in the streets, and the humdrum tranquility of everyday life is seldom disturbed. It was here, amidst the twinkling holiday lights and festive decorations, that an unthinkable horror was about to unfold. The man at the center of it all, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, a name that would soon send shivers down the spines of this tight-knit community, and indeed the entire nation. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we delve into the chilling events that transpired on that fateful Christmas Eve, it's important to understand the man behind the mask. Who was Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, really? What led him down such a dark and destructive path? But first, let's understand who Bruce Jeffrey Pardo really was. Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, a man of contradictions. In the bright, sunny streets of San Fernando Valley, California, Pardo was known as an affable neighbor, a friend. He held a respectable job as an electrical engineer, a position that demands precision, discipline, and a clear mind. Yet, this was only one side of the man. Beneath the veneer of normalcy, there was another Bruce Pardo, one that was wrestling with personal demons. Pardo's personal life was fraught with complexities. His marriage, once a picture of suburban bliss, started to crumble under the weight of undisclosed financial troubles and escalating disagreements. The couple's marital woes culminated in a bitter divorce in the autumn of 2008, a tumultuous end to what had once seemed a promising union. The strain of the divorce was evident. Pardo's behavior began to change, gradually at first, and then more markedly. The friendly neighbor and diligent engineer started to retreat into himself, his sunny disposition clouding over. His friends and loved ones could only speculate about the turmoil that was brewing within him. Yet no one could have predicted the scale of the storm that was about to break. Pardo's life was spiraling out of control, and the fallout would be catastrophic. The affable neighbor and the skilled engineer were slowly being overshadowed by a man consumed by resentment and anger, a man who was planning a horrific act of violence. The man behind the mask was a ticking time bomb, fueled by a potent mixture of rage and despair. The mask of normalcy was slipping, revealing a man on the brink of committing an unthinkable act. Little did anyone know, Pardo was concealing a darkness that was about to explode. As the festive season approached, Pardo's true nature began to unravel. It was a time of joy and celebration for most, but for Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, it was the beginning of a meticulously calculated plan. Pardo's preparations were chilling and thorough. He began by purchasing an arsenal of firearms. Each purchase was calculated, each weapon chosen with a specific purpose in mind. It was as if he was preparing for war, a war that only he knew was coming. But the guns were just the beginning. Pardo didn't stop there. He went on to construct a homemade flamethrower. This was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a clear sign of the depths of his depravity and the extent he was willing to go to execute his plan. The flamethrower was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of the terror he intended to unleash. As he gathered his arsenal, Pardo was careful not to raise suspicion. He was meticulous in his planning, leaving no room for error. Each step was calculated, every move was deliberate. He was a man on a mission, a man consumed by a chilling intent. And as he made these preparations, Pardo kept up appearances. He continued to play the part of the unassuming neighbor, the friendly face in the crowd. He was a master of deception, hiding his dark intentions behind a mask of normality. But beneath the surface, a sinister plot was unfolding. As the days turned into weeks, the festive season turned into a countdown to a massacre that would shake the community to its core. No one could have predicted the horror that was about to unfold. No one could have imagined the atrocities that Pardo was planning. In the quiet town of Covina, Christmas was on the horizon. The streets were lit up with holiday decorations. Homes were filled with the warm glow of Christmas lights. But amidst this festive cheer, a storm was brewing, a storm that would shatter the peace and tranquility of this small town. The stage was set for a Christmas Eve that Covina would never forget. On the night of December 24th, 2008, Christmas cheer turned into sheer terror. As families around the world were gathering to celebrate the season of joy and goodwill, in Covina, California, a horrifying scene was unfolding. Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, a seemingly average man, had harbored a chilling plan. As the clock struck 11, Pardo arrived at his former in-laws' Christmas party. But this wasn't a heartwarming holiday reunion. Pardo was dressed as Santa Claus, a costume that masked his sinister intentions. The unsuspecting guests welcomed him, their holiday spirit clouding the impending doom. Underneath the jovial facade of Santa's red suit and white beard, Pardo was armed to the teeth. He carried with him a homemade flamethrower and several handguns. The moment he stepped foot inside the house, the festive atmosphere was shattered. Pardo unleashed a barrage of bullets, his former family members becoming the targets of his inexplicable rage. The house, which minutes ago was filled with the sounds of laughter and Christmas carols, was now echoing with screams and gunshots. Pardo moved methodically through the house, his actions calculated and precise. This wasn't a spontaneous act of violence, it was a meticulously planned attack. Even in the midst of the chaos and panic, some guests managed to escape. They fled into the night, their holiday joy replaced by unimaginable fear. Meanwhile, Pardo continued his rampage, his Santa suit serving as a cruel irony to the terror he was inflicting. Once the bullets had stopped, Pardo turned to his homemade flamethrower. He doused the house in racing fuel, setting the once lively home ablaze. It was a chilling end to a night that had begun with so much promise and joy. As the fire consumed the house, Pardo slipped away, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The Christmas Eve massacre was over, but the impact of Pardo's actions would echo for years to come. 9 people lost their lives that night, their Christmas Eve forever marked by the horrific actions of one man. In a matter of minutes, Pardo had turned a festive gathering into a scene of unimaginable horror. The Covina Christmas Massacre serves as a stark reminder of how quickly joy can turn into tragedy, and of the darkness that can hide behind the most ordinary of faces. The aftermath of the massacre was as shocking as the crime itself. In the wake of the horrifying Christmas Eve incident, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, the man behind the mask, attempted to flee the scene. The twisted tale of this man didn't end with the massacre. Pardo had a well-thought-out escape plan, intending to flee to Canada, but fate had other plans. Pardo suffered severe third-degree burns during the attack. The Santa suit he wore was melted onto his skin, causing unbearable pain that thwarted his escape. He was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at his brother's home in the early hours of Christmas Day. His flight ticket to Canada was never used, but Pardo's destructive intent didn't end with his death. When authorities investigated his car, a grim discovery was made. The vehicle was rigged with a booby trap, designed to detonate the car with black powder if tampered with by the bomb squad. This was a chilling reminder of Pardo's meticulous planning and his intent to cause even more havoc. The police were able to disarm the trap safely, and the car's explosion was prevented. But the discovery sent a shiver down the spine of the community, making it clear that Pardo's plan extended beyond the massacre itself. He had a grand scheme in mind, one that could have resulted in even more death and destruction. Pardo had also rigged his own home with explosives, intending to erase all traces of his existence. However, this plan was foiled as well when the police safely disarmed the explosives. The failed plans, the booby-trapped car, the unused flight ticket, all these painted a chilling picture of a man who had orchestrated the entire event with cold precision. The Covina massacre was over, but its impact was just beginning to be felt. The Covina massacre left a lasting mark on the community and the nation. This horrific event, like a stone cast into a pond, created ripples that extended far beyond the immediate victims and their families. The survivors of that fateful Christmas Eve faced a long, arduous journey of healing. They had to grapple with the loss of loved ones, the trauma of the event, and the harsh glare of public scrutiny. Yet in the face of tragedy, they showed incredible resilience. They banded together, supporting each other through the grieving process and finding strength in unity. Their journey, while painful, serves as a testament to the strength of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. The community of Covina too was forever changed. The massacre shook the town to its core, shattering the illusion of safety and tranquility. In its wake, there was a renewed focus on community safety and security. Residents became more vigilant. Local authorities implemented stricter security measures, and the town as a whole worked together to rebuild and strengthen their sense of community. Nationally, the Covina massacre ignited fierce debates on gun control. Critics pointed to the ease with which Bruce Jeffrey Pardo obtained his weapons as evidence of the need for stricter gun laws. Advocates for gun control argued that preventing such easy access to firearms could help prevent future tragedies. While the debate continues to this day, the massacre undeniably served as a catalyst for discussion and change. The Covina massacre, a brutal act of violence, left an indelible mark on the victims, the community, and the nation. It served as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of gun violence and the urgent need for change. The tragedy served as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface, even in the most unassuming places.